Hi, everyone, and welcome to University 102 Common Resources. Our session today will cover some ways that you can get involved on campus and some other resources that you have available to you, not just academic ones. Before we get started, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Isha. I use she, her pronouns. I'm in my fourth year of animal biology, and a fun fact about me is that I'm actually on the orientation team this year. Like we said earlier, we'll be discussing some ways to get involved on campus and some other common resources. First, we'll talk a little bit about getting involved. Griff Life is your hub. Do you remember from the 101 session? What are some things you can find on Griff Life? I'll give you a second to think. Some of these things are a-week events that are happening this week, events throughout the school year, active clubs, and many more. Now that you're a student at Guelph, you'll see the many diverse identities we have on campus. There are over 200 different clubs and organizations who all run fun events throughout the year. Join them if you resonate with that identity, or if you want to learn more about certain cultures, faiths, interests. All students can join all clubs. One of the most memorable events that I went to was actually in my first year, and it was called Diwali Night. I was able to meet some of my closest friends there, members of my community on campus, and I was actually able to perform. It was hosted by the Indian Students Association in Peter Clark Hall and was a really great time to get dressed and have a little bit of home. It was really, really fun. Now that we've talked about the different clubs on campus, I want to show you the events. You might remember it from 101, but as you can see, this is where you'll find all of the events that are run. Ready, Set, Griffin, CSA Block Party, Griff Fest, and I Kiss You, the Room Burn, and Pep Rally are just some of the many fun events that we have planned during orientation week. As I mentioned before, there are over 200 clubs on campus. This means that there's a club for almost anything you can think of. Try searching for the Gardeners Who Love Crocs Club. I'll give you a second to do that. Did you find it? If there isn't a club you're looking for, such as the Gardeners Who Love Crocs Club, you can make one. Head to csaonline.ca to find out how. Now that we've talked about clubs, what are some other ways that you think you can be involved on campus? There are some on the screen. Think back to your time at high school or in your community, anything that you've really done. So, aside from attending events and joining clubs, you can also get involved with college government or various on campus committees. These run initiatives that are more specific to the college that you are in. I'm part of the Ontario Agricultural College, and in the past, we've actually run this event every Wednesday night called Aggie Pub in PCH. There are different themes every week, and people dress up and you learn how to line dance. It's actually very fun. This year, for a week, the OAC will be running a sub. Well, clubs are a great way to be involved on campus. Another really great way to get involved is by volunteering. You can volunteer both on and off campus, but today we'll talk more about on campus volunteering. What are some volunteer opportunities you think exist on campus? Some of them are on the screen. So there's the Peer Helper Programs, PHP, the University of Guelph Ambassador Program, which helps with things like campus tour days. You can volunteer as a supported learning group leader or an SLG leader, and obviously as an orientation volunteer to help out during O week. Sometimes you may also be able to find opportunities to volunteer with professors. I've been able to volunteer for a community organization in Guelph called the Hindu Society of Guelph since my first year. I perform for their events and help facilitate some of the events that they have throughout the calendar year. Student Volunteer Connections, or SVC for short, is a great place to look for off-campus volunteering. This is a course that you'll have to self-enroll in on CourseLink. How many of you remember to access your course link from 101? I'm assuming that most of you remember that, but the way that you'll self-enroll in a course is you go to the CourseLink homepage, and there's a link at the top called self-registration. Click self-registration and scroll down to Student Volunteer Connections, or SVC. Click that, you'll be taken to another page, and then you can click register. Follow the on-screen instructions, and once you've successfully registered, you'll receive a confirmation email. SVC isn't the only course that you can self-enroll in, and it's a fairly easy process. You can go through and see what else is offered. A third way to be involved is by working either on or off campus. How many of you have had a job before? Experience Guelph and the Co-op or Experiential Learning Center are two places to find out information about on and off-campus jobs. They have career advisors who would be more than happy to meet with you to talk about anything job related. You can either make an appointment or drop in. There's also a team of peer helpers who are very knowledgeable and can help you create the perfect resume, cover letter, and even practice your interviewing skills. While you may be super excited to find a job in your field of study, that isn't always possible depending on when you're looking for a job. So please don't be discouraged if you can't find a job that's relevant to your studies. There will be so many transferable skills that you can take to the future and a more relevant job. Now I want to talk about some of the other resources that we have on campus. We've talked about ways to get involved, and now we're going to talk about the different resources we have specifically for food on campus. Food is a really big part of our identities, and we're very fortunate to have hospitality services that caters to almost anything you can think of. Hospitality Services also has a service catered for those with special diets and allergies. This is made for students who have special food requirements. Students can reach out to Hospitality Services and speak with managers to review dining stations and personalized plans. There are also some great initiatives that we have on campus. One of them is the Student Nutrition Awareness Program, or SNAP. It's there to encourage healthy eating habits by providing education and support. You can get SNAP cards, one for fruits and veggies, one for breakfast, and every time you buy an eligible item from anywhere on campus, you get a stamp, and this works up to a free item over time. SNAP has some really great events coming up this week, like their Q&A booth at 5 p.m. on the Monday. Look for it on the I'm a Griffin app. Another initiative or set of initiatives is the Sustainability Initiative. This includes green containers, reusable mugs, fair trade policies, campus composting program, and many more. The green containers are ones that you can buy in Krillman, the UC, or other food locations. They're really handy for when you want to have leftovers. You can also take dishes to residents and leave them at the sinks in your lounge. You don't have to do your own dishes when you have these, but a really good tip is to not leave a stack of dirty dishes in your room. I personally use the green containers almost every day in my first year and almost every day now that I'm on campus. I really like Mongolian, but sometimes I can get 2 or 3 meals out of just one purchase, and it's really handy to take and just have snacks in between classes. Did you know that you can get a beverage for only the price of a small when you use a reusable mug? You can also get an I Am Reusable loyalty card to encourage reusable mug usage. When you complete the card, you can submit it to a cashier at any hospitality services location, and you'll be entered into a monthly draw to win a $25 hospitality services gift card. Like I mentioned before, we also have the fair trade policies. This means that we're dedicated and committed to supporting, promoting, and celebrating that we provide fair trade products on our campus. Fair trade certified and organic coffee and tea are also available at all hospitality locations. And as I mentioned before, we also have the campus composting program. It is run by student employees, and the compost is sent to the Guelph Center for Urban and Organic Farming in the Arboretum. Fun fact, during the fall 2019 and winter 2020 semesters, the compost program successfully diverted over 100,000 kilograms of food waste from landfills. Another fun way to be involved on campus is through intramurals. Intramurals are recreational sports that run through the athletic center. There are 3 levels. Fun, which is geared towards someone who has never played the sport before and is looking for a fun and social atmosphere. Recreational, which is geared towards someone who has some experience playing but isn't overly competitive. And lastly, competitive, which is the most advanced level for people who are really experienced in playing the game. Intramurals are a great place to meet friends outside of your classes, but people who are also interested in similar things. Intramural registration begins September 2nd at 6:30 a.m. So thank you all for joining us for University 102. Now that the session is over, there's still plenty of fun things to do on campus today. Some fun events include Griffest and the football game from 1 to 4 p.m. in the Alumni Stadium. Come support the Guelph Griffins while they play against the Windsor Lancers and enjoy some inflatables, events, etc. After Monday events, we'll wind down with a movie night where we'll be watching Spider-Man No Way Home. This is one of the movies that you all voted for on the U of G Student Experience Instagram stories. If you haven't followed our Student Experience Instagram, the handle is at U of G Student EX. And this is a great place to stay up to date with events relevant to developing you outside of your academic self. They will also be posting some important OWEEK events and updates on their Instagram stories. Some student clubs have also organized their own events in the evenings. If you're interested in checking out these events, use the I Am a Griffin app or log into GriffLife to see which clubs are hosting events and where to find them. Remember to join us for University 103, where we'll be talking about how you can master the skills of a student, learn about academic and health and wellness resources, and other resources available to you on campus. To wrap up today's session, everyone should now have a better understanding of different ways to get involved at the University of Guelph and many different resources we have for you. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email start@uoguelph.ca for more information. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.